Today, we're looking at one of the most difficult topics, technology. Join me on this fun ride as I go through all of the parts, giving you an insight into how to get those top scores. Let's start with part 1. Tell me, do you use the internet every day? Absolutely. I am glued to my phone pretty much all the time due to the fact that I need to use it for my job. As a teacher, I need to be able to contact my students at a moment's notice. Number 2, what gadgets do you use most often? Well, in the past, I always used my iPad because I was a big fan of watching Netflix movies on there in the evenings. But now it has to be my iPhone 15 Pro Max. I'm glued to the screen all the time when using this cutting-edge device, whether it be for surfing Facebook or indeed checking my Instagram. Number 3, do you think you use your phone too much? Of course, in this day and age, I cannot help but use my phone all of the time. It's something that I'm really ashamed of. For example, last week, one of my best friends came to visit me and I found that we were both scrolling through Facebook. This made me feel a little bit frustrated. Number 4, what technology do you use most at work or at school? This has to be my iMac computer. This is due to the fact that I need it to be able to teach my students online from around the world. Having a deep understanding of how to use this technology is fundamental to the success of my teaching career. Guys, did you notice that? Fundamental to the success of something. This is really good vocab I want you to write down in your books. With those answers, I didn't try too hard, but my intonation was very strong. Notice how I slowed down a little bit with my speaking. I gave myself time to think. Let's move on now to part 2. The question for part 2, describe a piece of technology that you find useful. You should say what it is, when you got it, what you use it for, and why it is useful. There are many electronic devices I could talk about. However, if I had to pick one, it would be my Apple iPhone 15 Pro Max. I can vividly remember I purchased this iPhone on my birthday, the 22nd of February last year. I use it in a variety of ways. Firstly, since I am passionate about photography, I use my iPhone in order to take photos of the breathtaking views in Ho Chi Minh City, as well as to post them on Facebook. Secondly, if I have the latest iPhone, then I will have the opportunity to study online at IELTS with Charles, which is important because I can get a deeper understanding of the English language, something you can't put a price on. The reason why my iPhone is special is not only because it is a cutting-edge device with a luxury feel and allows me to show off my social status, but also it has sentimental value. For example, last week, I travelled to the majestic mountains of Dalat and visited a stunning and charming coffee shop in the mountains. During this time, I was able to snap incredible, captivating photos of my new little baby Rocco, which is something that will allow me to save my memories. In the future, I will always buy the latest Apple products to keep up with the latest trends. In that answer, you can see I structured my ideas with our beautiful introduction, and then I used the speaking structures, a variety of uses. Firstly, since. Secondly, if. I love those grammar structures as well. Then I told my story. The reason why my iPhone is special is not only because, but also it has sentimental value. For example, then I told my beautiful story about my travels to Dalat. Use these structures in your answers to part 2 to get those high marks. Now, let's move on to part 3. Question 1. How has technology changed the way people communicate? Well, in the past, people talked to each other mainly face-to-face, that social interaction was an important part of culture in the past. But now people tend to communicate through electronic devices and online social media platforms like Facebook, which leads to people feeling a little bit more isolated and perhaps turning them into introverts. For me, this is quite a negative change. Number 2, do you think older people struggle with technology? Yes, absolutely. I think this is due to the fact that they have a lack of confidence because they have not grown up using the latest software. For example, many older people struggle with simple actions like video calls on their electronic devices. However, I believe this is changing nowadays as more old people are taking an interest into learning more about technology, perhaps even joining classes on how to effectively use a mobile phone. Number 3, what problems can technology cause in society? Well, I think this depends on age. For older people, the biggest problem is they might get scammed, especially from illegal websites that they don't feel very confident with, especially if they have to purchase something and then receive the wrong product. In contrast, for younger people, I think the biggest issue is that they browse through Instagram and see this ideal life with people with perfect bodies and lots of money, and they struggle to grasp with the idea that it's not really realistic, which may lead to them feeling a little bit isolated and lack self-confidence. Question number 4. Will technology replace teachers in the future? Well, some people think yes, because technology is far more cost-effective and affordable way for students to learn, which is important for a developing country like Vietnam. But I would say no, because you cannot replace the one-to-one interaction and an emotional connection between a teacher and their students. This can help students to feel more confident and have more fun in the classroom, which I think is what education is all about. So guys, I think you will agree the topic of technology is a challenging one, but I hope that gave you an insight into what to expect. In part 3, I tried to use a range of different techniques, from our first technique of answering why, example, alternative, right through to our second technique where we say, some people think, but I love that. And finally, I said, it depends on something. Remember, in my answer, I said it depends on age. You can also say it depends on personality, gender, wealth, or age. Try to use a range of these different ways of answering in your answers in the IELTS exam. Good luck, guys. Let me know in the comments down below what topic you would like me to cover in the next video. As always, please hit subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye for now.